Welcome to the Great British Pinball Podcast, and here are your hosts Scott Rundle and Neil McRae.
Ladies and gentlemen, the twanginess of the guitar, the slightly bizarre and weird bird-shaped British flag. It can only mean one thing, Scott.
The Great British Pinball Podcast now.
Hell yes, and it's a very exciting episode because tomorrow I board a jet fighter plane, not a jet fighter.
Jet fighter.
I'm off to fight in the war.
I was going to say, he's going to go fight in Ukraine, boots on the ground.
Yeah, boots on the ground. More like chef on the ground. That's the only gig I would get in the army. I'm off to TPF, and in fact, some of my comrades, Messrs. Silver Paolo, the journey that is Collywobbles, Ian, I don't drink too much wearing, and that was sarcasm, and Mr. Scott W, all forum contenders are actually on a plane right now. In fact, they've got Wi-Fi because they're irritatingly texting me about the new, almost just announced, literally minutes ago, Venom topper, and asked if I've ordered one, to which the answer is, of course I have, you stupid fools. So, yes, it's TPF time. I'll fly out tomorrow at 10 o'clock with Rob and Christian and Tony and Monster from the club, who are also going over. And it's proving, there's been a lot of, I don't know if you've been paying attention to your pigeons of news feed, Scott, but it's been a busy day, pinball announcement-wise.
Yeah.
Would you like me to run through them? So we have a new game.
I know a few. Yeah, we got Portal.
We have a new game from Portal, from P3. That looks great. And my good friend Ian is the coder on that. So I hope it's a great game. It might, because Ian's involved, it might convince me to buy a game. Everyone keeps pinging me saying, Neil, when are you gonna get one? Meaning that they don't want to risk it. They'd much rather I risk my cash. But there's really not. The last two games tonight have been pretty decent.
Okay, it's interesting you bring that up because I've just been speaking with David at Retro, and he's just signed a deal to actually distribute P3 in the UK. He has.
I might make it slightly easier, but when Phil hears that, there'll be a small explosion in Stockport or whichever weird northern location he.
But, I mean, the thing is, I had got an argument with one of the guys on Facebook over it on their post actually on the announcement, because Portal, to me at least, is a bit of a niche license. I know you might turn around and say, well, niche is 8 million copies sold, but
I agree.
I compare that, I did obviously a Cyberpunk 2077 game for my theme, and that sold 50 million copies. And I don't think anyone in the pinball world, at least I knew what the hell that was. So Portal, being a very old license, let's face it, they haven't released a game recently. I'm just a little bit worried that a lot of people in the pinball world won't know what it is. But I mean, I like Portal. It's a good game. And I like the fact that in this P3, it's the first game to have stuff in the kind of middle third. Before it used to be just the back third. For those that don't know, the P3 basically built their whole world on a modular platform. And it's something where you take the top third out. It's a modular component. You can lift it out rather than the whole playfield and then plot in your next game. And they've got various games they've done in the past, like Princess Bride and Heist and all those other games they've done. I think they've done 20 odd games in total. This is the first time I'd say they've done a license that's probably a bit more up there. Weird Al probably as well is probably kind of more mainstream, but this is more the big ticket item. I hadn't heard of
Weird Al until the pinball machine came out.
Really? Okay.
I became an instant fan of
his parodies are great, but again, it's old stuff.
And I think he is he's hilarious, frankly. And it was kind of a good theme for pinball. Actually.
Yeah, I think we dare say this one seems more interesting because now it's the first game where they've pushed stuff beyond I think it's an extra. You can't just buy the module kit and expect it to also go into the middle third, but that was my main criticism from my point of view, at least, is that every time you put in a game, it was just the back third that would change. Everything else was the same.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll see what happens, right?
I'll get to play at TPF. I'll take some video and we'll put it on our YouTube.
Oh, is it actually going to be at TPF, is it?
Yes, it's going to be at TPF. Ian has invited me to the booth.
Nice, okay.
Gamma Goat, if you're on any sort of gaming / Discord / whatever, that's his handle. He's a really nice bloke.
Sure.
I've known him almost 8 or 9 years now. Jesus, quite a long time. Really nice guy, even though he's Canadian. But
does that mean he's going to suffer in the tariff war that's going on with Donald Trump and all that?
Well, he will be already if he's buying pinball machines from the US. Right. He'll be feeling that pain now, which is an amusing topic. Of course, the other thing to mention that's new this week that I will get to play at TPF, I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, is Marlin's Arcade from Turner Pinball.
Do you know, it's funny, I got linked that, and I was like, I didn't know what it was. I just had a graphic of the game, but I instantly went, is that Turner game? And I thought they've done well at that, right? Like, to me, I was like, it looked like a Turner game, and I was like, oh, he's built himself a brand, because it just looked like a Turner pinball machine.
Absolutely. I think he's done enough where he's done enough that he kind of stands out a little bit. Although I actually thought it was a Jersey Jack game because of the yellow, and I thought, is this a Jersey Jack game? But yeah, it definitely looks. He definitely has a kind of feel. For me, it's the back box looks a bit triangular rather than straight. You know, the side, but the wood side. That's where I noticed it, and the fact that it's got Turner at the bottom of it also helped.
No, I didn't notice that, but yeah.
So I haven't seen any photos of the Playfield as yet. Have they been out?
If you look on Napa Arcade, he's got a shot of it.
My good old buddy Jason, who signed up to be a member of our small cabal here, which is very kind of. Actually, did you notice that we got that? Some crazy people voted for us in the Twippies.
I did actually see that.
Someone pinged it to me. I was like, you got loads of votes. I was like, really? Who are these stupid people? No, seriously, thank you for those that voted for us.
Yeah, it's nice.
It was very nice of you. And so, looking, actually, I'm just scanning Nap Arcade as we speak, hot off the press. In fact, the guy, the figure that they've got at the back looks like Conrad from one of our members from the club, and the woman at the back looks like my wife when I've pissed her off. So I'm already liking the look of this. I have to say, Turner's first pinball game, Ninja Eclipse, I really rated it. I enjoyed it, and I spoke to Mr. Turner. What's his first name? It's got in my head. And told him, look, this was at TPF last year, in fact. I said, look, stop messing about with this stupid little cabinet. Put it in a proper cabinet, and you'll sell them. You'll sell all of them. And he did. And he did sell all of them.
Yeah.
And
I like the way he went with a reasonable number to succeed with. Do you know what I mean? 100 is like straight 100%. In.
100, low risk.
Yeah. Doesn't
upset too many people if it doesn't go according to plan. But he's nailed it, and not only has he nailed it, he's got a new game that looks, it looks like a lot of fun. So I
like the fact he's doing original titles. Like, for anyone out there that's always complaining, it's always licensed titles out there. There's your option. He's doing original titles, and it seems to be he does them well.
Well, this is the thing. I always feel that we overplay theme a little bit. For me, it's always about. There's two things that have to be good in a game. The gameplay, I have to enjoy playing it. And the audio, right? I can live with a Whitewood if it's got good audio and it's a good game.
A bit like TNA with Scott Denisi, right? He's doing Portal as well, and I hope the music on that is also good. But he seems to know what he's doing when it comes to music. So
100%, and a good game, good music. And actually, when I played TNA for the first time, it was a Whitewood.
You're right.
I remember 2016. Pinball Expo was it? And I was thinking, wow. And then they kind of, they did the art. Andrew Manners, I think his name is, Man at Art, did an epic job on it. And the rest is history, shall we say. So look, exciting that there's 2 new games at TPF. There's also a third rumour that there will be a new Barrels of Fun game. So hopefully it will be the one that you're dreaming of.
It seems to be not. I mean, everyone's leaning towards Goonies, or G.I. Joe, but I'm like, Goonies is all right? I mean, like, Goonies is like, it's okay, but I'm hoping that's just them throwing curveballs and trying to throw people off.
I really hope it's Fifth Element, because I think I'm nervous about Goonies. I know lots of people back in the day, myself included. In fact, I did a chump impression, and I would say Goonies has aged very badly. I
got to admit, watching it back these days, it's not.
It is.
It's a bit dated.
Very badly, in my view. I love the
movie.
There's
rumours of a sequel, though, isn't there? Like, Steven Spielberg started making a Goonies too.
All the people that are they're like 50 or something. So
it'll probably be the next generation of kids, right?
The Goonies, the next generation. And one of them will be a robot.
You laugh. I mean, look at that. I don't know if you've been looking at, like, what's it they called? They're not Phase 8. It's 8 something. Figure 8 or Figure. You heard about Figure? Look it up. Okay. They say we're going to have domestic robots, as in, like, robots in the household. Crazy.
Hold on, no. Sorry, I'm calling bullshit.
Okay, go on.
I saw one of these domestic robots in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress, and honestly, I would have shot the thing. By the time I got it home, it was absolutely useless.
We'll see. They say by 2030 it's in your house.
I have robot kryptonite.
Okay.
It's called the Scottish accent. There is nothing in this whole freaking wide world. You can turn on the biggest AI freaking cluster on the freaking planet, and when I say, Alexa, turn on the lights, nothing happens.
Yes.
So honestly, it is.
No offense, though, she's pretty useless. I don't know. Like, we'll see, right? I think I was pretty amazed by what they've done, but as you say, it can be all done through like quite easy footage, vertical slice, take the best parts out, and not show what happens.
Genuinely, they had this thing at Mobile Congress. I was there in Barcelona. In fact, in Barcelona, man, it's got even worse. There used to be a place that had pins. There's none. Some private club, I couldn't figure out how to get there. But anyway, they had one of these robots. So they got the dog thing. That's pretty cool. That I think that's got legs.
Oh, you're about like Bayer Dynamics one.
That is impressive when you see that. So it also scares.
It's not Bayer Dynamics, is it? Everyone's gonna laugh at me.
Like that. Something Dynamics.
Something. It's Boston Dynamics, I think.
It's like. So the dog thing is I've seen that 3 or 4 times, and every time I feel scared by the sheer power it seems to have. If that thing kicked you, you'd probably go and end up in hospital.
Yeah. Anyway, we should go back on track.
Move on. Yeah, back on track. You're right. Sorry, I diverged. Anyway, I think robots are way off. But anyway, the
Goonies. Yeah.
Goonies. I don't think it's aged well. Can they do a pinball machine that maybe deals with that? Maybe. If you'd said to me, like, before COVID, Goonies, I would have bitten your hand off. But I watched Goonies with my granddaughter.
Right.
And we turned it off midway through. It was freaking terrible. Even she thought it was terrible. She's 11. And yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I think I must have gone to the cinema about 20 times to see it. It's such a cool movie. It was kind of the gang you wanted to belong to, but the movie is not well.
Well, let's see what happens. I really
hope they have got a new.
Do you think it will be at the show?
So the rumor is that. So I heard early doors that they were definitely not going to have a new game, and then things changed, and then I heard maybe they are going to have a new game. And it feels like, the thing is, it feels like a long time to wait until October, the end of October now, when they're at, game 800 or something of the 1,000?
Yeah, they lowered it down, didn't they? They say they're only going to do 1,000, but I think they're like pretty much at the end of the production cycle now.
So why would you wait to announce it?
Yeah.
I mean, assuming they've got something that's, 95% there.
Well, it's the worry, isn't it? I mean, we go back to the whole tariff war that's going on. The economy's a bit in the bin, especially in the stock market and in America, and that does affect people's buying power, I imagine.
100%.
There are a lot of games being announced, so it's like, do you announce now, or do you wait and then everyone, throws their money at the games that do get announced?
Well, the £100 gorilla in the corner of the room, Mr. Kong.
Yeah.
I think a lot of, if I'm Turner or Barrels of Fun, I gotta watch that when I order this, it doesn't come out the same week as Kong, because that could be bad for your health. So I would say, given that they're close to the end of building, they want to keep the factory running. It's a big fixed cost. Get it out before Kong. Get people's £1,000 unrefundable deposit. The skeptic in me, or the salesman in me, says go, 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 go. But I mean, I love those guys. They're all very nice.
Yeah, I mean, my game's been. I'll tell you one thing. My Playfield has been flawless. Like, I can't even see a dimple on it. I don't know what clear coat they're using, but it is rock solid.
Are they Bottenberg Playfields, or
I don't know.
Okay.
But the clear coat is really impressive.
Well, I will actually, on Playfields, we will tangent for a moment. So, my Pulp Fiction, which is one of my Pulp Fictions, because I've got two, but one of them that I kindly put in the club for it to be played by the masses. The state of that playfield gave me great cause for concern. So basically, any of the scoops or edges, it's starting to really suffer.
Right.
And Rob Cutler's got Seiko Kid on the forum. He's got these protectors which help, but they're not going to solve the problem. Frankly, so I think I'm going to be a little bit honest about CGC, sadly, because I love them to death. I've got every game they've made, in fact, more than one of them. And Pulp Fiction, they dropped the ball. There's no question about it.
I have heard about clear coat issues. I think it's got to be like, is there cutouts around the scoops so that the clear coat's adhering to the wood, or is it actually adhering to artwork and then it's chipping on the artwork?
No, it's the wood, and basically there's no question as to what the cause of this is. They haven't had time to let playfields cure. There's no question about it in my mind. So, with that in mind, I decided, and for me, so I'm less worried about the game at the club. Obviously, I want it to look nice and play nice, and maybe one day I'll sell it if something better comes along and I put something else in the club. But I want it to be playable. It's a great game. In fact, we had a big game of it at the UKCS, which we'll cover a little bit later, I think. So I decided, right, I'm going to do something about this. The man of action that I am, decided I am doing something about this. So I bought a playfield from CGC.
Okay.
And I had it shipped to one Ronald Cruzman.
Okay, it's getting the Cruzman treatment.
It's getting the Cruzman treatment. And my idea was so good that 8 of my friends, and I was amazed I had 8 friends, frankly, and some people will ask me to name them, they thought it was such a good idea, they said, Neil, I want in on this action.
Okay.
So CGC did me a very good deal, and we sent 9 playfields, because I've got 2, one for this game at home, and one for the game in the club. We have sent them to the main man that is Ron Kruzman.
He's going to be busy.
Yeah, I mean, we basically locked them out of business probably for the next year, I would suggest. And I'm looking forward. I'm not in a rush for it. So the great news is, the one in the club, we can smash the bejesus out of it. I don't care because I've got something gloriously...
Did it have like cliffies around the edges, any metal, or is it just...
No, and I think that's been a big mistake for them. And so other UC games have. So I'm looking at Attack from Mars, it's got them. I'm looking at Monster Bash, it's got them. Medieval Madness did not have them. But there's a cliffy set for Medieval Madness. It's exactly the same playfield. It fitted no problemo. Cactus has it. So, and
sounds like that's the mistake then, really, isn't it? It's the reinforcement.
I think even with that though, Scott, I don't think the playfield's the same quality as the 4 other games that I've mentioned. And
interesting.
I think they've been under pressure to get. They've had lots of challenges with. There's lots of challenges with the game before it. Cactus Canyon. I think that spilled into the manufacturing, construction of pulp. I think a few things got rushed. There's no question about that. And it's just not where they want it to be. Now, the good news is, I already spoke to Doug about this, and he's like, yeah, there's certain things you would do differently for the next game. And here leads me to the point I was aiming towards. I understand that CGC will have a new version of Medieval Madness. And one of the rumors I heard, and I'm slightly cautious as to whether I want to broadcast this or not, out of respect for one of the people involved. But the original core of Medieval Madness is someone we love, Lyman F. Sheets Jr. And there is a rumor that he had some new code ideas for Medieval Madness.
No, right.
And that this new Medieval Madness may have some of those code things in it, which would be absolutely fantastic and amazing. Yeah. And by the way, they better release the code for the one I've got. Otherwise, I might have to nuke half of Chicago.
I love my alley. I'd never get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. So that is one of the big rumors. Probably turned out to be completely false. But I do know he had some ideas to improve the code on Medieval Madness for sure. The other rumor, and it's not really a rumor because I've already seen it, is that the upgrade kit for Cactus Canyon will be there to play. It wasn't there.
God, it's been so long, hasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't there in Chicago, but it was there. But it was in a factory in Chicago, and I got to play it, and I thought it was very good. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there is a small rumor that there might be something about Halo, which is allegedly Play Mechanics' next game.
As in, like Master Chief Halo.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Oh, that is right out of left field. I've not even heard about that. God.
Yes.
I mean, Halo's a big title, but
it is a massive. I mean, you talk about Portal.
Yeah,
or Fifth Element, or
this is the game that's like going to be cross-generational because people will be playing it since Xbox through to
like Mario.
Xbox One.
Microsoft's Mario, right? And it, I have been fighting.
Man, if it plays the Eidorian music, I'd love that.
So and people say, but I don't know if you know that Play Mechanics or rather Raw Thrills, which is the 2 brands that they go under.
Sure.
I've put out Halo Fireteam Alpha or Bravo, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I played that in the States. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's not that great in my view. It doesn't compare to the game, but if for kids in an arcade, covered in sticky goo, it's delicious for them. So that was the other rumor, and then the only other question is what do the big guys have? I think Star will just have D&D. I don't think they'll have anything new. They might have a Venom topper.
I mean, I don't know if Predetti / Pinball Brothers will be showing their game, but obviously Predator is going to be the rumored title. Whether or not it's going to be at the show is another thing, I suppose. But they typically announce on April 1st.
Yeah.
Which is April Fool's Day. I don't know why they do that.
It's aimed at all their customers. But
You're so rough.
It's look, I heard it's Alien versus Predator. Hence
I heard that, and I'm really hoping it's not, because that's a terrible license to do.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Alien versus Predator is like the worst film. What worst films? They did too.
I'm gonna admit to something. I watched AVP. I don't know how, but it was some sort of horrible pirated copy. Pre-release.
Good. It doesn't deserve people's money anyway.
No one with Danny Glover in it.
Yeah, I can't remember, man. It's a terrible movie. I
need to watch it again because I can't remember. But I didn't think it was as bad as you're making it out to be. So I need to watch it again. Anyway,
terrible.
I mean, put it this way: they could reuse all the crap stuff that they put on Alien in the game, like all those fantastic mechs. And what's his name? Dior could do a topper that's maybe the right color. And I don't know.
To this day, by the way, I bought the original Alien Queen topper for my Pinball Brothers Alien about 13 months ago. Right. I'm still waiting on my replacement base.
Really?
Yeah. They sent a new one, and it had a crack in it.
Oh man!
It's a joke. It really is. It's 1,400 quid.
Is that from
wherever that is in dollars? 60. Yeah, that's Pinball Brothers. You can blame Lior though. It really is directed at him. He is the main delay on this. And
I mean, look,
I understand the war, but 14 months is 14 months. It's like I should have had a replacement by now.
Not war in Israel would stop. You know, I if the war is the excuse, that I find that somewhat challenging. I deal with quite a few Israeli companies, and they're not dramatically affected by the war. At least,
it's been frankly piss poor. I'm actually really furious about it. I've been waiting for ages. I had
for 1,400 I'd be going over there and headbutting the guy. But I mean, I've got a couple of these mods in my James Bond, and they're beautiful.
His stuff is normally good. As I say, it's just I think the quality control has been, in my experience, bad.
It from Pinball Brothers.
I bought it through Phil before he parted ways. That's what's caused the part of the problem.
Oh, Jesus, that's just an advert for gloriousness. Here's how not to sell shit. Piss off the distributor, piss off the customers, and don't have a supply chain that you've got any control.
I mean, it puts me off buying any other toppers from them because of the experience I've had. Like the game wise, it's like I'd have to see it open
from them.
Yeah, it questions the quality.
Flyer from them for that sort of bullshit. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I feel for you on that one, man. But it could be a happy day when it finally arrives. Just as Sigourney Weaver.
Just as well, I've had, because I've obviously gone through 3 Aliens. I've had the original prototype, which we know all the story with that. And then I had an LE.
Special.
Yeah, that was the special edition, that one. I had the LE, which was fine. Then I sold it, regretted it, bought another one, got that, kept it. I don't think I'll get rid of it because I still love the theme. The theme carries it. So you go back to what you were saying before, how gameplay and music is important for you. Theme is also up there for me.
So I think it's one of the best theme integrated games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you do feel when you're playing it. So I've played the Progetti made one a couple of times, but I played the original
Highway one. Yeah,
Dandy Highwayman. Won quite a lot with it at the club for quite a while. Mike's got it. It's at Medway now at the moment, and they put a good sound system in it. And when the music's playing and the call outs, game over, man, and it's got all the sounds that the computer's made. It felt, and if you turn the lights off and you're playing kind of in the dark, and there was definitely an atmospheric grab there.
Yeah.
Just 20 minutes after playing that game, though, I just wanted to go to sleep. It just put me under, basically. But it's not the worst game in the world, for sure.
No, I think like it has got some it's a floaty game, right? It's wide body, but I feel like there's way worse out there. I mean, it's not like Roadshow.
Roadshow, exactly. I mean, Jesus. And that was one of the upsides of the UKCS. Roadshow broke early in the day. Yes. I had a small celebration whilst we turned it off.
Have we covered all the other titles? I think that's it at the moment that we know.
Let's go on our friend,
maybe potentially Harry Potter, JJP?
Harry Potter, yeah. I mean,
Potter.
Is it going to be there or not? Craigie Spooky have released new code for Ultraman. So Craigie, no, that's from years ago. Hold on. What? So I tell you, Nap's website kind of does weird stuff with timelines sometimes. Sales of Marlin Murphy's Wheel open today. No, they don't. So I don't know what's going on with this website. So the only other thing is Jersey Jack are probably going to bring out a cheap version of Harry Potter as well as the two expensive versions.
Oh, what? They're going back to that kind of standard edition model that you did with Guns N' Roses?
That is the rumour. And I can see that because I'm hearing that the top end price is going to be 20 grand. In fact, that's what I've heard it twice now. 20 grand.
No, it's ridiculous, man. No one's... Well, there will be people that buy it, but that's just far and few between.
Look, as a Bond fan, I paid 20 grand for that thing, right?
Yeah. That ain't worth 20 grand, I can tell you that much.
It's worth every penny, mate. In fact, you know what? I'll do you a deal. I'll sell it to you for 22. No,
yeah, sure.
I think people will buy it 20 grand. I think
that will tank in value on the used market.
Yeah, well, the thing is, people look at Pirates of the Terrible Being, and they think, people still think that's a 20 grand game, and I just think, what are these? They're nutters. The reason I've
not played it since the code update, to be fair, so it might be better.
So anyway, the long and short of it is, I could see them bringing back a cheap version.
Yeah.
If the rumor is true that, I mean, if the CE is 20 grand, you got to think the LE is 15.
I can't believe they could do that in this market. I really don't. If the pinball market goes for it, my God, they've got deep pockets.
Yeah, man, it's the sound. I need a sound button that does kind of a cash sound. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is the rumor. And then
my mate's always in disbelief that I spent 15 on a Metallica, and I was like, yeah, wife bought it. It's my excuse. But it's like, where is the ceiling then? 20? God, if they go for it,
I'm definitely
crazy.
I'm saying this. I'm definitely not. If the ceiling becomes 20 grand for an LE, I'm just not. That's just ridiculous. Basically, 5 LEs, you buy a house, man.
Well, yeah, I couldn't do it.
So the other good news is that Alice in Wonderland, they started building them. So those of you,
I almost forgot about that game. That was last year, wasn't it?
Those of you that have ordered them, 2027 is coming soon.
Hopefully, I mean, the apron looks nice. I remember actually, I think it was Canada showed it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely looking game. I mean, the gameplay's terrible.
It's a shame.
Terrible. Too strong a word. The gameplay's okay, but it's clunky. But I couldn't convince them when I played it. I was like, guys, please put some pitch on the game. Jack it up at the back. They had it almost level.
Oh, hey, when they do that.
Pitch on the game because it was flowy as hell, so it was hard to tell how it really played. Yeah. I think with a little bit of air it could be good. And then the other Alice in Wonderland, the good news
is that worth even talking about? But go on.
It is. They funded it, so
mate, when the barrier is that low, 100,000, anybody's gonna they just got easy money in the bank there. But I don't know.
Look, he's got his customers, or what are they called? Investors now. They're all these customers are investors.
Yeah.
Brave move. And this is the guy that originally was one of the founders of One Up. No, that ended.
Well, let's face it, that One Up kind of lightning in a bottle scenario where people were buying stuff because they didn't really think they could buy a full arcade machine, didn't want the hassle. The quality was crap, let's face it. It was Chinese junk that you just got for like 200 quid or $200.
I've got in my one of my pinball stores. I have got the Atari Games one up because I'm a massive Robotron fan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not Robotron.
Centipede?
No, it's gone in my head. It's the one where you turn it and you're on this thing where you
Missile Defender, or it's called?
No, you're on this round. It's going to drive me nuts. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Well, you do that. I mean, I would say, like, for me, those titles, they were okay when they're at the low end, but then they start jacking the price up. And there was like $1,000, and I was just like, "What? It's this cheap crap."
Yeah, the game is called Tempest.
Oh, Tempest. Yeah, that was a good game.
But they've actually got like a smaller arcade. It's the same shape. You know, Atari arcades have this kind of weird, kind of overhang.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the same shape, and I thought, oh, I'm such a big fan of Tempest. I thought I'm going to have one of them. I
don't see the pinball market going, well, I don't know if they still make pinball machines anymore, a bit like the arcade market was, because that was far more general audience that bought that rather than like hobbyists, right? And I feel like anybody who knows about pinball knows that these machines are available, knows they're being made, knows that you can get like used ones for around the 3-4K mark. Why the hell would you spend $1,000 on that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I remember like arcade one-ups being, I don't know, 700 quid or something. But then you went to Costco's and they were there for 100 quid, and I'm like, is that because they're not selling? They're trying to get rid of them? But I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, if Stern can't sell its home pin in Costco, which I heard the last rumor, some of the games were selling for $1,500, which is well below their sticker price, then how the hell is this company going to make any? And if you look at the Kickstarter, they've only sold, I think they've got 550 backers. That's not a lot. I mean, it really isn't. I think personally it's going to be one of those come and go businesses. You're going to see them for about a year and then they're going to disappear off the face of the earth. But prove me wrong, I suppose. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at that. The Costco, probably not the price anymore. But it looks like they were selling them $1,000 cheaper than what Stern were selling.
Some places were selling them, as I say, on manager's special clearance.
It's kind of a shame because it is actually a good game.
Yeah, it is.
I read at the MDF Playfield, which would put me off because the minute you get the slightest bit of damp, that would just explode.
Swell, yeah.
That put me off right away. Anyway, let's move on.
Sure.
So and then there's a bunch of other stuff that'll be there. You saw the vendors will be there. There'll be a I'm hoping that the homebrew section is as good as last year's.
Yeah, man, it was packed. It was good.
It was great, the homebrew section. Davey Stumbler's also coming as well. Forgot to mention him. And last three TPFs, I've managed to buy a game and I get it shipped back. So will it be 4 for 4?
Have you bought Evil Dead? I forget.
I have bought an Evil Dead.
Nice.
And I'll be honest with you, that's one of the games, if they've got a spare one kicking about and I like it, that could easily find its way into my carry-on luggage.
Nice.
But I don't know if I'd want 2 of them, though, so Phil may get upset if I have to cancel it. It'll probably cost me $2,000. But anyway, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, if I come to it. But I might go there and hate it and try and get out of it anyway. But I'm hearing so many good things about Evil Dead.
Man, every time I see someone playing it, it just seems to flow. And it's a wide body as well, right? It's crazy. It's so quick.
It looks phenomenal, and I'm excited. If I haven't played it, it's rare that I don't get to play a game close to Liftoff, but I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to playing Portal as well. See all Ian's hard work. What else? I got. And I'm picking up a John Wick topper. In the US, one of the guys.
Have they released? Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? They did the egg timer.
The egg timer. I mean, it feels somewhat ridiculous, but nonetheless, I've got it.
You might get the Venom topper while you're there, I suppose.
Nah, they won't have it. It was the same last year. They released the Foo Fighters topper, and they only had a prototype there. They'll probably have the prototype there, but I doubt they'll have them for sale.
Okay.
It's on Stan's website. That means the only topper I'll be missing will be Uncanny X-Men,
That hasn't been done yet.
Until Con arrives, or actually until Dungeons and Dragons live. Scott,
have you bought Dungeons and Dragons? I forget.
Bought the Dragon. In fact, I almost forget that I bought it because it's been 2 months since I handed over my hard-earned lolly.
Yeah.
And it still hasn't arrived. And I've said to Phil, for God's sake, man, get this thing on a plane and get it over here, because if Trump keeps doing what he's doing...
Well, we could have tariffs, right?
You could lose some money on it, Phil.
As an incentive.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that would cheer him up. Just kidding, Phil. Anyway, the whole tariff thing is a bit scary. I mean, it could really hurt Dutch pinball, really hurt them, because all of a sudden their expensive game has become 25% more expensive. Hopefully not, but it must be. I mean, it's definitely affecting Canadians. So if you want to order a pinball that isn't in Canada, the price has gone up 25%, which is.
I had noticed that. Even like I buy some parts from Canada sometimes, and they even had to put like a reciprocal tariff on some of the stuff like coin doors and that, and said 25% more. So it's got like a
that's
50 Canadian charge on it.
I mean, but the thing is, this is the mad thing, is that the person who buys it pays the tariff, right?
Sure.
So, but then they look, well, wait a minute, I'm paying for this thing, I'm paying 25% more, but I could buy it locally, so steel, for almost the same price. The problem with it is the steel makers become, oh, that's cool. We've got a captive audience. We can be lazy. We can do a bad job. They're still going to buy it from us. And this is why tariffs always fail, because they're protectionist and they don't work. There's a million papers on them in business schools, about tariffs in the past. They just simply don't work. The only thing that the only way, if you want to control what people buy and how they buy it, the market controls it. And if you try and fiddle with the market, you risk side consequences or side effects that you didn't think of, and that's what's happening. I kind of feel I mean, we've got tariffs on British steel, but I think we only make one bolt a year. So
it still will hit us, but not nearly as bad as it would Canada. I think they're really going to be suffering for that. I think. Well,
but also it means that rather than sell it to the US, people will sell it to other countries. So China's probably rubbing their hands saying, "Oh, we're going to get all the steel coming over our way because they can't sell it to America." It's just a bit short-sighted. I kind of get what.
We'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, as you say, it doesn't result in pinball suffering, because that's what it feels like will happen.
Indeed. So, actually, one thing, when we need to spend a bit of time on this, but not for this podcast, but the next podcast, Scott and I are going to do a guide on buying pinballs.
Are we? Okay.
We are, yes. I didn't mention this to you.
It's the thing with Neil. He says you're doing this, and I go, okay.
Yes, because we, as pinball buyers, remember there are.
I'm such an expert, by the way.
There aren't many podcasts where you have buyers like us.
I definitely have experience.
Yes,
you can learn from my mistakes. There you go.
Exactly, that's it. We're going to help you. But and the reason I want to do this is I went to a work colleague bought a pinball machine.
Right.
And despite me saying, before you buy it, let me have a look at it, of course, the FOMO in him overtook his normal bodily and brain function. He bought a pinball, got it back, and it looks great from the outside.
Right.
You lift the playfield, and it's rust central.
Woof.
And he's like, "Oh, I didn't know to look for that." I was like, "No, you wouldn't." And it's one of those things. It is increasingly common for people to be storing games in their garage,
Oh, absolutely.
In their shed, not a shed like this.
No.
That's hermetically controlled air conditioning.
That's more like a summer cabin. We're talking like your kind of shed that you put together on B&Q.
You put the lawnmower in.
Yeah.
There are people also storing them in those containers, cheap storage.
I picked up a Deadpool, in a shipping container, and it was left in the summer heat, and it had rust.
Yes, it will.
And that was literally like 8 months old, and it was rusting.
Yes. So what I want to do is go through the things to be looking out for. We'll cover this in more detail because we need to kind of put effort in to make sure we don't miss anything. But
sure,
there are and this basically what he told me the guy he picked it up from, he met him at a shipping container depot.
Right.
So look, I'm not saying don't buy a game, but maybe pay $2,000 less, just in case.
I tell you what it is, and it's probably less of an issue for Americans, I find, at least, because they're much more willing to do it. But we as a nation aren't really good at haggling. I really don't think we are. I mean, I don't know. Like, I get some people who...
I don't think this is haggling, though. I think this is asking for the facts. It's like when you, like, I know, I bought a lot of cars in my life. Don't ask why or what, but like, I remember buying my first car. I was terrified of the process, right? And now I'm like, do this, do that. Make sure you've done. I know more about buying the car than the sales guy selling it to me. And I've helped many friends. So you bought a car, help me out with this. And the finance is super complicated. And I want to try and help people get the most out of it. And with pinball machines, it's kind of the same. You just, if you've not bought one before, the first game I bought, I got lucky because I bought it from Chris B, who's a superstar when it comes to buying games. He's not going to sell you junk, but
sure,
if your first game you order it off eBay, you get anything. And there's other scenarios like, has the game been stored in a place that doesn't get damp? And people say, so you got the kind of the cold and the outdoors, but you've got things like you can be indoors warm, but if it's in a damp room, damp just attacks the electronics. And
corrosion is your enemy. Yeah, absolutely.
And people
trust
think,
me. I'll give an example. I had a Dracula, so it was one of the first games I actually rethemed. Where I say it's rethemed, that's an exaggeration. It's more like I made it black and white edition, a bit like Elvira did. The switch matrix had corrosion, and I didn't realize it till very late into basically trying to troubleshoot it, that the pin headers needed to be replaced. And I got weird gremlin issues, like switches would just randomly fire off. The game would then, think it's in a missed multi-ball when it's not. I was trying optos, I was looking at everything but the switch pins. And it's the switch pins that we're talking like inside the header, you've got that little bit of metal that makes contact with the header of the MPU. That had a little bit of green on it. And then that little bit of green was the corrosion that was stopping the conductivity between the wire and the header. And that caused the problem.
Well, and look, I just saw, I bought a Lord of the Rings. And actually, to be fair, it was cheap.
Sure.
And got it to the club, lifted it up, and it'd been in a place next to the seaside, and I don't think it'd been stored back. I think it'd been stored back there. It was just next to the sea, right?
Yeah.
And basically it was all rust, and I was like, so we kept it in the club for a little bit. Then I sold it. I mean, I took a $1.5 hit on it because, in my view, because of the rust, it wasn't worth.
Salt air can really wreck it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sold it cheap. Deliberate, and I said, look, I'm selling this cheap because look at the play, look at underneath here. That plays fine. It played fine, but at some point in time, that rust's gonna act. So look, I want to.
Yeah, we'll go into it more in depth. But
there's a lot of things that you need to think about, and we'll do a kind of a we'll do a bit of work on it. We might even do a PowerPoint slide.
Love it.
But that was the other thing. So look, our normal agenda. So I believe, Scott,
Yes.
you have a new incoming.
Yeah, it's not as exciting. Well, no, let's change that. It's not as expensive as a pin, at least not yet.
I don't know about that, my friend.
But it will be. It will be. But yeah, my wife actually found out she was pregnant about 12 weeks ago, and she was then, I think she's in week 14, week 15 now. So
Okay, well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Neil is a glorious name for a boy.
I'm already sticking to my guns. It's going to be a girl. We don't know yet, but we'll find out on the week 20 scan, I think it is. So in about 5 weeks.
Are you going to find out then?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm not like, look. We discuss pins. I want to know what it is before it's announced. Like, it's the same thing. I don't want to wait.
Well, look, I'm sure that the 24 people that voted for us are very happy for you, along with me.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it's 24 or something like that. But no, look,
still pretty good. Yeah, thank you.
It will, you'll start to have hair like mine.
Mate, I'm already there. But like, look, this is for me. It's just the matter of getting my body into shape, because I'm going to need it when the one starts running around. It's literally running circles around me. So yeah.
Yeah, it's you want to go to Costco and you want to buy all of the Pro Plus, so that when you're not sleeping for the next 6 months.
My mate has just had his newborn as well, so he literally, like, his wife gave birth the week before last, and he's telling me all this stuff, like they're having to do stuff they run patterns like together, so they shift patterns, this is, so they'll do like 3-hour stints. Yeah, I've got all that to look forward to.
A friend of my mother's had twins.
Oh wow.
And Jesus, I mean, I was kind of after I moved to London, but just the effort that was required. I mean, and my mum said to me, every time I go around there, there's like, it just, the house looks like a bomb's hit it, and it smells of kind of, baby. And there is a unique baby smell, by the way. It's a phase, right? And they were just like, for the first year, they were just they just were dead. I mean, they looked like they aged like.
Well, so we pretty much like hadn't really even. We've been trying for a long time, and it was getting to the point where it just got to a point where it's like, okay, it's probably not going to happen, and then suddenly it just happened. Yeah, well, it's a great surprise, and I'm really happy for it.
We're all very happy for you, mate. And when's the due date then? Is
September? I want to say 9th. No, that was it. It was 9/9 because it was easy to remember.
Yeah, okay, wow.
But obviously, it was shifted around that day, I imagine.
It's not that far away then.
No.
Well,
that's why I have to try and get this pin behind me done, because I'm just like, I'm just constantly trying to wrap stuff up now. I'm just like, get it out of the way before I don't have any free time left.
Yeah, well, look, congratulations, mate. I'm sure it'll be all good, and we might need to find a temporary stand-in whilst you're off doing nappy duties.
Maybe, yeah.
But no, look, we'll figure it out. We'll podcast from the hospital with cigars. Big,
like Arnold Schwarzenegger style.
Yeah.
Cuban cigars.
Yes. Give me your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Right, moving on before I do another bad impression. So, pinball in and outs. I bought one game.
Okay.
I bought a World Cup Soccer.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes, and it's in...
Good old Papa Duke game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm in two minds whether I like this game or not, but it's kind of one of those games that does well at tournaments. People like it. It's kind of easy, and it's a good theme. And with the World Cup being hosted again in the United States this year,
they've got so much going on, haven't they? They've got the Olympics and the World Cup in 1 year.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
To have it. So it's currently in my storage room in here in Woking. I need to go. There's a couple of things I need to do, but at some point it will end up in the club. And also, I've kind of also acquired a loan of another game, skateboarding game. The name of it's got in my head.
Skateboarding
ballet game.
Radical, is it?
Radical, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm borrowing it from someone. Basically, in the club, we don't have a. So I'm a Stern Classics fan, and I like modern games, and I don't really buy a lot of what I'd call late 80s, 90s games. You know, your Monster
System
Bash,
11 stroke WPC games,
Taxi,
basically.
stuff like that. We don't have a lot of them, and I kind of want to change that a little bit because people are fans of the game.
I love Taxi. Taxi's good.
Yeah, I like Taxi. I'd love to get a hold of one, but no one wants to sell them. Or if they do, they want enough money I could actually buy a real taxi and go out and Uber myself to death. So, no, it's not. If someone is selling a taxi, let me know. I'd definitely be interested in it. But predominantly use it for the club and the UK Open. What else I wanted to cover? Yeah, I mean, the Tuppies, don't know if you watched any of it or cared about any of it, but
Jaws.
Yeah, I kind of think that was fair.
I disagree with the animation element. I didn't really understand why that won Best Animation when you've got Metallica remastered with what I think is probably the best animation they've ever done in any game.
Yeah, I think that's an unfortunate timing one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's all community votes, isn't it? So, yeah.
There's a lot more Jawsies out there than there probably is Metallicas.
Absolutely.
But actually, did you get a Metallica Fix-It kit?
I did.
You did? Okay, good.
I haven't bothered to apply it yet, but I've got it. I've got my blue springs, and I've got my plastic protector for the top left ramp.
Awesome, good. Yeah, I got mine. I just suddenly realised that it was a thing. So, yeah, other pinball news. There's one thing I wanted to kind of say to everybody because I've kind of been hit by this twice. Captive balls on Stern games. Okay. So.
Yes, for Jurassic Park. Yes.
Yeah, it's to Jurassic Park, but actually also my Foo Fighters. Just keep an eye on your captive balls. So the one on my Jurassic Park in the club's completely snapped off. And we're just kind of sitting in the middle.
So what gave way? Was it the fret?
Yeah, it kind of it snapped midway through. In fact,
so I was going to ask you, I didn't really understand what caused it. Okay.
So here is... Which way is it?
Oh, well, that's a shear and a half, yeah.
Yeah. I actually think I'm going to turn the flippers down a little bit. Is that the right way around?
It looks it, yeah, because that looks like the machine end, yeah.
And it has this washer, which I was trying to figure out, because I couldn't find it. So it sheared off, but I couldn't find this bit.
Yeah, I remember because someone said check the manual, and I thought, well, the manual doesn't list it.
It's not
but
in the manual. Also.
No.
So, and then I looked at my Foo Fighters and noticed that the ball at the top, it turns.
Oh, it's got loose. Okay.
No, it's not loose. It's very tight. The ball's turning, but the screw isn't. So in the future, I see that becoming a problem. So just a word to the wise, check that.
Have you thought about trying to put in the Williams style version of it from Pinball Life to see if that would fit?
I've ordered it, and actually, I'm hearing from a reliable source at Pinball Life that it's actually the same thing.
It's the same part.
It's exactly the same part. So I've ordered...
Because I was saying, my Theatre of Magic one holds up just fine, but...
Yeah, but I think Theatre of Magic flippers versus Stern modern...
I see what you're saying, yeah. Does it belt it harder?
Flipper.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not. I will see. I've ordered a bunch of them. In fact, they got delivered today to my hotel room in Texas ahead of me. Nice. This is the great thing about Texas Pinball Festival. I get everything sent there, and I end up having to buy a case to add to the 12 cases that I've already bought since going there.
Nice.
yeah, so that's that was my one other kind of moment of pain. And I'll quickly do a kind of rundown of the UKCS, which is, so UKCS is like it's a championship, and I'm not a big fan of the qualifying for it because I think it's bollocks, frankly. We've had this debate before, but basically, last year you played in any tournament, your points got added up, and if you're in the top 64 in the UK, you got a place in the UKCS. I managed to scrape in because people dropped out, and the event was on Saturday at the club. Actually, I've streamed it, although I did stream it but didn't. I'll come back to that. So we had 64 players. It was a match play, so we had 8 rounds, 3 games each, an old, a mid, and a new, which is where this kind of mid thing, because I realised, wait, we've got a weakness here in the club. I'm now trying to fix, and the event was absolutely fantastic. We had some challenges with organisation that we as the club need to learn from, but everyone loved it. So the first day was qualifying, and it was great. I was streaming. I'll talk about streaming at the end just because it'll be easier. But and then the top 32 players qualified for the final. So I played like a chimp because someone happened at the beginning of the day, and it just took my brain away from playing. And then we got to the end of, so we got to the second day, 32 players qualified, and then we had a 7-round head-to-head. So you played a player best of 7, and then you go. Then you go to the next round, and whoever wins the final round is the winner, which actually was a guy called Ben Moser who flew over from Switzerland from it. And again, everyone loved it. Thought the format was great. This format we used is the World Championship. That's how they decide the IFPA World Championship. So people really loved the format, loved the event. James was there from Majestic, did a great job. Went really well. And all the club kind of founders and helpers did a fantastic job. Actually, probably a special shout out to Diane, who always goes above and beyond. And it was a really great gig. I went to stream it, and I knew it'd be difficult because we don't have fibre or broadband. It's all mobile broadband, and
right.
I had all 4 networks in Sims, and I had kind of these routers that would route over wherever one was working. All of them were shit.
So basically, they had roaming networks on, and it still couldn't pick up a decent signal.
It was actually 4 separate connections, right?
Oh wow, okay.
And so basically, 9 in the morning, life was good. 10 in the morning, till about 4 in the afternoon, it was garbage on all the networks. So basically, too many people, not enough capacity.
Have you not got a Starlink?
I have, and the problem with Starlink is you need to be able to see the sky.
Sure, it's line of sight, yeah.
So I was thinking about how could I get the dish on the roof. I was thinking about that, but it's just not easy to do. But that would have been the perfect solution.
Definitely.
And actually, at the UK Open, I take my Starlink there because it is actually it would be easy to use Starlink at the hotel that we use.
Yeah.
And it was infuriating. But to make a bad situation worse, and I kind of knew this was going to happen, it wasn't a surprise. So I thought, I can record it and I'll upload it to YouTube after the event. But I did try to stream it, and that was a mistake because there was a new bug in OBS, which is the app that we use to stream.
Yeah.
And basically, whenever the stream flaked out, the connectivity, OBS would basically get into a state where you couldn't do anything.
No, it locks up. Lovely.
Yeah, and I basically had to kill it and restart it several times. Anyway, I pinged the OBS guys, and actually fair play to them, they got me a patched version the next day, and I got it up and running. It was like sweet after that. But that was really frustrating because it meant that I had lots of recorded bits that I had to glue together.
Oh yeah, I can imagine all the editing on that.
Especially on day one. Anyway, I did it. It's uploaded. You'll see it if you look for my YouTube page where the podcast is. You'll see the qualifiers. The finals are almost done. They're on my laptop. That's what I was doing before the podcast. But great gig. Will Dutton. So the thing that was big about UKCS is whichever UK player got positioned the best, they qualified for the IFPA World Cup, World Championships, which is in Austria. I want to say end of May or beginning of June. Can't remember. Round about then. And Will Dutton or Will Jarvis qualified. He played beautifully well. Great player. And with some great performances. For me, man of the match was Anton, one of our club guys. He knocked out some big players, knocked out a couple of big players, played really well, and it was great to watch some amazing pinball. I was actually watching the stream back as I was editing. I kept getting distracted by watching it rather than editing it.
Right.
But it was a great gig, and I just want to say thanks for everyone for coming. And everyone said, we should do the same next year. And I was like, okay, here's the problem, right? Putting on an event like that it's a lot of effort.
Sure.
And it's expensive. So the club, we probably broke even, maybe not even on hosting that event. But the bigger issue is for the club members that help us, myself, Matt, and others, it means we're busy running the event rather than playing in the event. And it definitely has an impact when you're running the event.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Matt went out quite early. I didn't even qualify. I mean, I was in the bottom 4 or something. I played shockingly, but kind of reasons for that. But partly because I was trying to run the stream, I was also a TD. We were there like all week cleaning and getting games set up, and it's a lot of effort. And we run, in the club, we run pretty much all the big tournaments in the UK now. We run the UK Open. We got this new one, the British Masters, which is replacing a tournament I used to run here. Because we ran it, I could do 52 players I put the marquees out. Yeah. But there's way more demand than that, and I hate turning people away. So we're doing this big tournament at the club, and then we run a monthly tournament at the club, and we do that partly because people want it, but partly because we need to pay the bills. And we ran the UKCS, the one before it, we ran at the club, the old club.
Yeah.
I said to Matt, I think we should do this next year because it'd be nice to go somewhere else
and just compete.
Be a player, right? Yeah. Matt said, but then the format that we used that everyone loved, there's no other venue in the UK that can do it. Now, what was kind of slightly annoying was lots of people moaned, well, it was at Pinball Republic last year. That gives them a big advantage. Let me tell you, it gives us no fucking advantage. And then, guess we have to come to London and pay for a hotel. I'm like, yeah, okay. So tell us where you want to host it. So it's ultimately Matt's decision where to host it. He's the IFPA country director.
Sure.
But, I think the club, me and some of the helpers were like, it'd be nice just to be able to drive to somewhere, check into a hotel, go for the curry the night before, have a few beers with the players, then play, then either do great or don't, then go home. So I said, let's see who else wants to host it. Now, my prediction is we will end up hosting it at the club next year. But we'll definitely charge more for it because we didn't make enough money from it. for this weekend. And actually, I think people sent me.
Is that going to be the same for UKCS, or do you think you're still going to do that one?
No, I'm talking about UKCS.
Oh, okay.
UKCS, I don't, my take is I'd rather go somewhere where we're not having to do all the effort. And honestly, getting 70 games to a place where they play super well. I mean, we do this day in, day out, but put a little bit of extra effort in for an event like this, and we'll do the same for the Masters.
Yeah.
It just, it is huge effort. And you end up like, I float in on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. to get stuff up and running. And after being there kind of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm like, no, man, this is tiring. Anyway, the short of it is if there's someone else there that would like to host it, go talk to Matt, because I think both of us would. I mean, Matt's always going to be involved in some way because he's the country director, but he chose to. He wants to do that. That's cool, but ultimately, I think we as the club would like to just be able to go somewhere else and not to worry about.
As you say, the challenge is space, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, I mean space, and there is no other venue.
Space accessibility, and everything else in between.
So, look, I suspect we'll end up hosting next year, which is fine. But certainly, I kind of came away from the weekend with crikey, it'd be great just to be able to play. And I don't play at a lot of UK events because I'm traveling, and when I'm back, if I'm not traveling and there's an event on, I'll play there. So I'm playing at the Texas Pinball Festival tournament. Because of work, I travel a lot. So when I'm back, and then I'll usually run one tournament a month at the club. So when I come to our tournament, I'm like, actually, I'm going to go home to see the wife. So it's just a little bit challenging when you're there's so many things that you want to do. By the way, it's not saying that we're not grateful to host it. I'm just saying, hey, someone else fancy doing it just for the UKCS next year. Well, let's see what happens. But and then and then also volunteers and helpers. So we got British Masters during Easter. If you want to help us, please contact me. And by the way, help isn't coming to say, I can play a bit of extra pinball. No, help is we got games that need to be set up. We got bins that need to be emptied. We got floors that need to be mopped. It's the whole plethora. Lifting stuff, putting stuff on the wall, going to Booker Cash and Carry to get coke for the machine. It's the full plethora of stuff. And then we're in the UK Open, it's like, we're setting up a temporary thing, and it takes a lot of effort. And it feels to me like it's getting harder and harder to get that help. Yeah. Our club members do a great job. On a Thursday they come down and they help, but and we're there to, during that day we're there to get stuff done for the club. Otherwise, if we fall behind on maintenance, trying to catch up, it's just so difficult. It happened to us when and it's the reason why we decided actually we need a full-time kind of tech, because trying to do it ourselves, there's just too much work. And
is that why James has stepped in? Is he?
Yeah, that's why James. I mean, we had Bob before, and then James picked up, and James did an amazing job. He's a great guy, a lot of fun, and just gets on with stuff. He doesn't need to be told what to do. He just cracks on.
Just cracks on.
And yeah, so look, I'm looking forward to the next gig at Pinball Republic, but we can't host everything. As I think the message that I'd like to say, or
you almost sound burnt out on it, Neil, by the sounds of it.
I'm not burnt out. I'm just kind of, or maybe I am a little bit. I don't know, but I'm just saying, hey, we need more help, folks. And And help isn't on the day, because by the time the day comes, we're kind of done, right?
Sure.
If we haven't got stuff done by the time it's the event, it's probably too late. So, Matt and I, actually Paul Goose was there, a couple of others. We were there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday doing stuff. Mike Parkins as well. So, I look at it. This isn't a complaint or a moan or anything. It's more of a, we've got to run pinball in the UK in a properly sustainable way. And right now it doesn't. I look at the numbers. So we're the biggest location. I look at the numbers. I look at the numbers of players. I look at the numbers of events, and I'm super nervous about how sustainable we are right now. The club's fine. I mean, worst case, if the club ran out of money, I'd pay it. I'd be quite happy to do that, because I'd have to find somewhere to host all my games, so it'd just be cheaper to keep them in the club. So I'm not worried about the club.
Sure.
I'm just worried about other. I'm just worried about the whole ecosystem.
You're just trying to keep the hobby alive in the UK to the mass audience.
Kirk Till is struggling, and he kind of, and the stream he says, Till's not going to be here next year, so at least he doesn't think so. So. Yes, use venues, and we're also price conscious, so we don't, put it this way, we're around the British Masters, a tournament that in the US would be probably about $200 for that tournament. We're charging 50. We're charging 55. It's pretty cheap. I know. Don't get me wrong. It's for some people that will be a lot of money, but ultimately. It's cheap in the when you look at the kind of market pricing, it's kind of cheap. Anyway, let's move on from that. So the great thing is the club's doing really well. We got changed some machines around. We got 72 games there now. We got a couple of things going on at Easter with there's a school that wants to come who are learning how to design pinball machines.
Oh, wow, okay. That's good.
During Easter holidays, so
so many disciplines with pinball. That's what I love about it, really.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to meeting these kids. So we aren't normally open for that, but I'm going to take the day off and go down there and open up for them.
No, good for you. It's good.
There's another charity thing where they help kids during holidays where the parents can't afford to have childcare.
Oh yeah, okay.
They want to come down, so I'm going to hopefully try and do them on the same day. But if not, I'll take a couple of days off and open for them. So great to have the place full of kids, although I'll probably regret it 3 minutes after letting them in as they bash on my Pulp Fiction. I think that's it from me. In terms of
we're good. We're at the 1 minute 20 mark, so I think we're good.
Yes, we are. And all is, you need to bring you anything back from Texas that might fit on a plane.
Yeah, no Playfields this time around. I might do a colour DMD with you.
Okay. I'm going to pick one up for this World Cup soccer. So if you want one, let me know.
Are you buying it at the location, or are you having it shipped to you in the hotel?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't thought about it too much. I'm hoping that they're there and that if they're there, they've usually got a few to flog. So
yeah,
I would just. Are they actually there?
Apparently, here we'll have a stall there.
Yeah, so we'll be able to get them on the stall. We just need to get there early. If you want one, let me know.
Yeah, okay.
I'll pick it up and
get one for my indie, maybe.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's holding up fine. It's great. Yeah, Sergio did a good job on it. It had some weird hackery on it. Like someone loved Chalkbox. All I can say is, if you don't know what Chalkblocks are, they're like weird little, basically Mollux jobs that people put in when they don't want to wire things properly. I had to unpick that and unhack it.
Older.
But yeah, I've got to do that, and then I've got an extension going on in my back garden. So the guy's doing a patio for me, and then I'm going to build a shed there, and that's going to be my new workshop. So I can finally then do the cabinet. I'm going to squeeze that in before my wife squeezed something out.
So I'm guessing that the house move is temporarily on hold.
House move is on hold while the baby is born, and then after the baby's born, we'll then put it out. I just think it was too much to do at the same time. It was like,
no, definitely. You don't want to be doing that. I mean, moving house is the most painful thing.
Because I was going to bring a pin to the
kind of second or third house.
I was going to say I was going to bring a pin to Pinfest, but my wife will be the size of a watermelon by that point, so it's not likely to happen. I don't think I'll be bringing a game this year.
I'm not planning on taking any games. Again, it's partly the same thing. It's like, I mean, I said this before. Like when I went to Pinfest, all I had to do was just be a bozo there. I wasn't running stall ball. I wasn't doing anything. I was just there, and it was like, this is glorious. I can just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm not planning on taking any games up. I think most of the folks at PBR aren't planning, or they're taking one more or less to get a free ticket, basically.
That's going to impact the list, isn't it? I have noticed that the list is looking kind of on the slim side at the moment. Hopefully, people pick up on that.
I mean, I can't remember. I don't know if it was this bad this time last year. I thought it was.
It wasn't that it had an injection from yourselves, though, I think. Matt.
So I remember looking at it, and I said to Matt, I said, Phil looks like he might need some help. Why don't we see if he gives us a nice space, we'll bring, 3 loads up, which we did.
Yeah, so that ended up being the biggest, I think, that they ever had in terms of machines.
Yeah, and then loads of other folks suddenly became awake. Apparently, there was the belief was that the rooms, people who brought pins didn't get a room, so weren't coming. I don't know if that was actually true.
He was resolved that this year, I think, because he did an early call to people to book before the rooms were open up to the general audience. So, but the odd thing is, I haven't seen the games materialize behind it. So,
yeah, I've actually bought a ticket rather than take a game, basically. But I mean, never say never. I might take a game, but.
Yeah, I had plans to take one, but I think, like I say, I think life's got in the way of that. I think for me, it's like I'd probably just find a ticket.
It's a no-brainer, basically.
Yeah, I can't be doing that on my own. I am not made of Matt's kind of like stature where he can just like deadlift a bloody cabinet. I've seen him do it. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, mate, but he's injured himself.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, so he's hurt himself. Actually, not doing anything pinball related. He was I think his daughter's laser tag, and he did his knee in, and he was definitely struggling with it over the weekend.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I think he's okay, but he had a knee. I think he pulled a muscle or something in his knee, but he seemed alright. But again, like he was running that event, and through that pain, you probably never hear Matt moan about it, but. He at the end of we were sitting waiting for the last game, and he got up, and it was like a real challenge for him, and he felt definitely felt in his knee. So actually, I was just looking at the Pinfest. Actually, let's just quickly do this to fill the last 5 minutes. If I go to the forum in one of my many secret accounts, I'm just kidding.
I guarantee you they all think you've got some extra burner accounts lying around there.
I've got 376.
There
376.
You go. Bot farm out its work.
It's basically Pinball Dude 1 to 376. And the password is Pinball Dude 1 to 376. It's the only way I could remember it, mate. Only way I can remember it. Right, here we go. What is let's have a look at the machine donation thread. So, Mooseman has got 3 games called TBC. Then we've got Whirlwind, Taxi, Pinbot, Torpedo Alley, Atlantis, Elvira, and the Party Monsters. GoldenEye, James Bond Pro, Black Knight, Sword of Rage Pro, Galactic Tank Farce LE, Kiss Pro, Dungeons and Dragons. They're from
which Dungeons
Steam.
and Dragons? Sorry, is that still
Bally? Obviously, Bally.
Right.
Luke Wells has got a pin called TVC. Dave Vai, otherwise known as Mr. Roadshow, has TVC. Broomstick, an interesting name, is bringing Metallica Pro and another game of TVC. I think we should have a big TVC competition where we can all play the game TVC and see who wins. Ski Jump, Kings and Queens, Twilight Zone, The Shadow, Vector, Black Knight, the original one, Space Shuttle, then 2 TBCs from Andy Foster. Then we've got Majestic Pinball TVC. That'll be some weird Gottlieb, no doubt. Austin Powers, Data East Star Wars, Demo Man, Orbiter 1, Super Hoop, Royal Rumble. That's what Phil himself is bringing. Then Witness Bernie. Interesting then. Is that because it's Bernie from Witness? Must be. 8-Ball Deluxe LE, Blackout. Great game. Getaway. Then Judderman is bringing Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, and Getaway. There's 2 Getaways. Hooray! Then Star Wars, doesn't say which one. And then a game called Robocock. I'm assuming that's a take on Robocock, which is a glorious game from Rob D. Wizard from John B. Spider-Man, Aerobatics, Pac-Man, Nautilus, Farfalla, and Circus, all from John B. They're all very...
I've noticed in that repeating theme of Bally Williams era games, no Stearns in there, no JJPs.
No, I mean, these are the kind of games that everyone brings. The same, I mean, they're pretty much the same games that everyone's brought for the last 10 years, I think, which is fine. And then in the open competition, Steve is bringing a game called TBC. Wayne is bringing Beatles Gold.
Okay.
Then Creech and Guardians of the Galaxy and John Wick.
Okay, so they're the Stern titles. They're going to be the competition pins.
The classics, Bally Lost World, Pulp Fiction. In classics? Are you kidding me? Nah. Pulp Fiction isn't in classics. That's ridiculous. And then either Dolly or 8-Ball Deluxe or Haggis Fathom. I wouldn't bring Haggis Fathom. It will never make a tournament like that.
I heard the code's a bit sketchy, isn't it? So.
The code's sketched. The quality of the game manufacturers can be sketched. Not all of them, but some of them for sure.
Yeah.
I tested one for the UK Open. It didn't pass my test. Metallica in the ladies comp, and then the NBA comp, unsurprisingly, has 2 NBA fast breaks.
I still like that, to be honest with you. I like the co-op play on it, so to speak, or the competitive play.
Yeah, I mean, actually, 2 of them came up for sale.
Oh, yeah?
And I was sorely tempted, but they wanted like $4,000. Was it $4,000 or $3,500 per game? And I was like, I'm afraid that one of them, okay, maybe $3,000 for it, and I think that's too much. I think it's a $2,000 game all day. In fact, I bought 2 for less than that, but
sure.
And then sold them without really playing them. And this was someone selling them as a pair. But the second one isn't as valuable as the first one, if you know what I mean. It's like an add-on, but you're not getting a whole. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. As a single combined sell price, it's going to be less than selling it individually.
Yeah. But selling them together. Anyway, I made an offer that unsurprisingly was rejected. And I was like, that's what they're worth. I'm afraid. So anyway, yeah, I mean, basically, only 50 games, well, probably 60 games, including the competition games, pledged so far. The competition is actually downstairs, so there's a whole bit of space upstairs to be filled. And look, folks, if you're planning on bringing games, let Phil know or put them on the forum because he needs to know. I suspect Matt will take some games up because he always does because he wants to. He's trying to sell them, obviously. But I'm not planning on bringing any games at this time. I just want to be there, be a bozo, and then when it ends, jump in my car and disappear like all the other bozos. So on that, and tickets are on sale for that. A quick note about UK Open ticket. So it is going to be at the Hilton. I'm just waiting to sign the contract. Why we haven't announced it, so I've not signed it yet. And it's the last weekend of September. We'll be playing pinball to the early hours, and Scott will be changing nappies to the early hours.
No doubt.
And we got a couple of. I'm going to hopefully announce a couple of exciting players that are coming. I'm really pleased about. They reached out to me and said we want to come. So watch out. For the 1st of July, tickets are on sale. I will be at the Hilton. We got the British Masters. You can buy a ticket now. Go to UKOpen.net. And but get your UK Pinfest tickets at ukpinfest.com, or bring a game and get free entry. And then next year, a quick mention to this: the guys in East Anglia are going to run a big tournament. I think 100 players. I can't remember exactly, maybe more than that. Sometime in March next year. So good luck to the East Anglia pinball gang that are running that. Hope it all goes well. I will miss it because it's the same weekend as Texas Pinball Festival, sadly, so it's almost a year away. So I won't be going to it because
TPF takes precedent.
It's just such a big gig.
It is. Yeah.
Just it's loads of friends there, loads of steak, loads of barbecue.
Man, I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
That's glorious, right? And one small snippet of rumor before we go.
Go on.
Harry Potter. Are you ready?
Go on.
My spies inside Jersey Jack are telling me it's not a game. I might have said this actually, thinking about it. I've got a bad case of deja vu.
Yeah.
Game does not have a lot of toys.
Oh, no, I haven't heard that. Okay. Wait, that's even more damning if it goes back to that whole 20k sticker price and it's not got a lot of toys underneath the hood. Yeah, because the homebrew, I don't know if you've seen the homebrew Harry Potter, that's very impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was impressed by that. I mean, I don't like the theme, but lots of other people do. Scott, on that bombshell,
definitely,
we shall end it. Where can people send used nappies, bits of...
I definitely don't want that.
A bit like used, what they call dummies, half-eaten...
broken pacifiers.
Apple cider desserts, 2 gallons of Calpol. Anyway, look, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And we must one day we'll do this podcast together. In fact, I think we might do a live podcast at Pinfest if we manage to.
We should try and do it before the baby is born. Is what I would suggest.
Sure. Yes, I will come to yours because I've got glass to bring as well.
I'll just come to yours.
Oh yeah, to escape.
Well, yeah, I can try Dungeons and Dragons.
Start with milk 4 hours later,
or maybe you'll have Evil Dead because you'll come back with one.
Yes, we'll do a British Pinball podcast. Or maybe I'll have Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know which is going to arrive first.
I'd like to think it was Dungeons and Dragons.
He shocked me by shipping that. Anyway, look, big shout out to everyone going to TPF this weekend. Big shout out to everyone going up for UKCS. It was a great weekend. Everyone enjoyed it. The YouTube video is up for the main, and I'll shortly be once I've done this, I'll be doing the finals. With that, everyone, pinball, it's about the folks that play it. Don't forget it. On that, it's goodbye from
Scott,
and
goodbye from Neil,
and goodbye from me. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Stay.